This is Global Missing Persons Alert, Interpol Yellow Notice number 21-22733. And it is probably 10:30 p.m., somewhere around there, on July 6, 2025. And the purpose of this video is to remind the apes and pigs of CIA, Macomb County, and Wayne County corporate councils how much damage I can do in the 2 hours that international intelligence says it is going to take to get control of my device back so my battery can stop being drained. Okay, they're extremely paranoid. They're in fear of their fucking lives, and they have every fucking reason to be. So they're trying to keep my battery drained faster than it can charge. Okay, and my international details estimates is probably going to take them about 2 hours, and that's the wrong answer. So we're going to spend that 2 hours showing the apes and pigs of America what kind of damage I can do in 2 hours' time. So we're going to talk about the DARPA electromagnetic weaponry and spy technology that is probably a good 100 years ahead of what the unknowing general public or anybody without the necessary security clearance to even know that it exists, it's probably like 100 years ahead of the technology that some of you even fucking know. And it's not new. This is Nazi technology. Been around since the Third Reich. Fourth Reich's using it now. I've been interacting with it for almost 56 years. All of my entire life, and I am the brilliant mastermind who did what Elon Musk can't do. Well, I am the only person in the world who can neural interface with the DARPA satellite spy technology for two-way communication through artificial telepathy and neural impulse stimulation. And I am the brilliant methodologist that came up with the language of. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, because every single person in America and all NATO nations is being violated and electromagnetically kidnapped and trafficked every day of your life, right through the walls of your own home. Okay? They're monitoring you as you sit on the toilet and take a shit. They're monitoring you as you fuck your spouse in the bed. Okay, they're monitoring everything you do for numerous different purposes, but most specifically, it falls under the umbrella of pharmaceutical research. And the reason why that is because all forms of human experimentation, okay, including psychological, physical, biological, all forms, including torture, all forms of human experimentation are completely legal under pharmaceutical research. That's how the Third Reich Nazis wrote the Nuremberg Code, which they left behind for their children and their grandchildren, who are today's current day America and West Europe. The Fourth Reich Ashkenazi regime. Okay, let's make sure everybody understands who the Nazis are. They're the Ashkenazis, also known as the Khazars of the Khazarian Empire, also known as Gog and Magog, the humanoid hybrid beast who slithered out of the Caucasus Mountains. That's why they call themselves Caucasian, which is not just whites. it's blacks too. Oh, believe me, it's blacks, and they are more evil than the white ones. I'm going to tell you what, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason is because they can't tolerate the skin that they're in. Okay? They hate the color of their own skin. Okay? And they therefore, and with all their envy, jealousy, narcissism, and obsession, okay, they turn that around and they gaslight anybody with a white face, okay, and they make it our fault because they hate the color of their skin and they cannot tolerate the skin that they are in. That's why you see these skanks with these $400 fucking carpet weaves trying to look like a white girl that they're not, and then they can't wash their hair for weeks and ongoing months. And if you look on YouTube, they got all kinds of tutorials type videos where they got mold and fungus and everything, and it stinks. It is trifling. For those of you who remember Duran Charleston back in November and early December 2020, Duran Charleston, Department CIA Scientology and Department of Defense, who was sent as a spy and a kidnapping human trafficker to my home and stayed in my upstairs in my home on Sedona Avenue. Okay, he was there a total of 3 nights, in which he only slept there twice. Okay, it was actually Thanksgiving. Okay, he came the night before Thanksgiving and he slept up there. He left Thanksgiving morning and did not come back until the Friday morning after, in which he slept up there that night, and then he stole from me the next morning. He's such a piddly ass 2-bit thieving igger with an N. That's an igger with an N on the front of it. That's what he is. He's an igger with an N on the front. Make sure you got that. Okay, and he stole $5 out of $15 that was on the door for the lawn care guy. And I had given him $8 to bring me a case of root beer. He came back more than 24 hours with a knot of $20 bills in his pocket. He did not have my root beer, and he did not have the $8 in singles, but that's okay, because I destroyed his life, okay? That $8 plus $5, that $13 cost him his life, but it took me a year and a half to get that fucking nasty ass, stankin' ass, musty ass, igger with an N on the front of it smell out of my fucking upstairs attic. And that is the truth. It took a year and a half. And what I had, I steam cleaned the carpet. Okay, I steamed the whole upstairs, including the closet, with the door closed, with a Vicks vaporizer, with a whole gallon of straight vinegar. I washed the walls. I washed the windows. I did everything repeatedly. Okay, now let me tell you another story about this. When I was a kid, back in the 70s, okay, and Bert, a.k.a. my dad's friend Edgar, who I also knew as Gao Gao when I was a little kid. We're talking like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. Up through all those years, Edgar was there, close friend of my dad's. He was there all the time. And my dad had a work truck that he used for his job, Detroit Free Press. This was back around probably 1974, 1975, and it was an old truck. Well, we had a family car too, and that's what we, the family, had to drive in. We couldn't ride in my dad's truck. Only my dad could use his truck, and he had to use it with the windows, all the windows down. It didn't matter if it was single-digit temperatures or below 0. The window had to be down because the stench from my dad having to cart those Iggers around, for those paper boys that my father would have to pick up and drop off to wherever their paper stand was. The smell was fucking horrific. And everybody that knew our family then, they know, okay, because it was a thing when people would come over. My parents, my dad would show it off, and the people would, he'd tell them all about it. And it's one of those things, you got to smell it to believe it, because there's absolutely no way to describe it. And, and if I try, you won't believe me. You'll think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. So my dad was not going to buy another truck. Just for those Iggers to stank it up again. So once he moved on to a new position, then he bought a new truck, and I remember that. But that truck was a big thing. Well, it took me 1.5 years to get to Ron Charleston's stank out of the house. Okay, they can't wash their hair for several weeks because their hair will shrink and they're trying to look white. Okay, while they collect welfare and food stamps and pay God knows how much for these 60-pound carpet weaves that look absolutely ridiculous, and they get them glued on their head, and they grow mold, they grow fungus and everything. Okay, and then they walk around with that same head of hair that they don't wash or anything for like 1, 2, 3, 4 months, and it's and they look just like they rolled right out of bed. Okay, and then let's talk about the glued-on donkey eyelashes, okay? If that ain't about the most stupidest looking fucking thing that you ever saw, okay? Anybody ever watch Winnie the Pooh? Yeah, the donkey from, I think he's the donkey in Winnie the Pooh. One of those cartoons, I think that's it, Winnie the Pooh. Well, that's what they look like. They look like a fucking donkey with these 8-inch fucking eyelashes glued, and I hope they all go blind, okay? I hope may Allah take their eyesight away and permanently blind them for being stupid enough to glue those donkey eyelashes on their eyelids. Okay, and then there's the Sharpie marker, lightning bolt, heart-shaped, and anything else you can think of, eyebrows. Okay, what these people will do to themselves to look white, there's no limit. Okay, that's why they are so evil. They are envious, they are jealous, they are resentful, and they are obsessed with white people. And these black women, okay, who I'm giving them respect they don't deserve by calling them women, because I don't even put them in that category, and it has nothing to do with the color of their skin. I don't have a problem with the color of their skin. They do. And that's the problem. And then when you factor in cannibalism, that's making all these people lose their fucking mind, that is America's mental health crisis. Between the cannibalism and the electromagnetic warfare and the mind control that the general public has no idea is even something that exists. So let me put it to you like this. They can read your fucking brain, okay? That's how I communicate. About 90% of my communication, because I'm an extreme loner. Okay, and the reason why that is because I am a trafficked missing persons and a hostage and a victim of United States terrorism, stuck here in the United States of America with this disgusting, trifling, diseased American people, okay, who fucking suck anything that walks and talks, stick their mouth in anything that stick their tongue in anybody and everybody's mouth. Okay, they're just that trifling, and over 95% of them are infected with numerous strains of herpes, most specifically herpes 4, herpes 3. If you've ever had chicken pox, if you've ever had shingles, if you've ever had mono, you got the monkey diseases. Okay, that they lied to you about what they are, and those are only one stage of them. It's also called non-HIV AIDS, SIV AIDS, and which is which is different than HIV/AIDS, okay, which they have that too, and these are passed through childbirth and pregnancy, and these RNA to DNA, they're pharmaceutical, they're United States Department of Defense pharmaceutical engineered RNA, DNA, herpetic, simian, monkey, and rodent herpetic retroviruses. That's what they are. It's America's bioterrorism. So, after over 80 years of America's weaponized vaccine programs to modify and to genetically modify and engineer a beast species, and their blood donor programs, over 95% of the American population are infected. Those who aren't are people who live a lifestyle like myself, or like the Amish who live up in the mountains and drive a horse and buggy, and like myself don't even have electricity or running water. We are like the 5% that don't have these, okay? And they tried to murder me with them, and I went through what was like a 5-year cellular purification. I fired America's Rothschild programmed allopathic Nazi doctors, okay, with their 7 hours of nutrition and their 3 years of pharmacology, and they have absolutely no idea how the human body works. Okay, they're there because they're CIA contracted operatives, and they are there to do what the CIA tells them to do. Okay, well, this is America's autoimmune and cancer epidemic. And then, when you get autoimmune disease or cancer, is what happens is, if they aren't already, which they probably are, monitoring you by real-time DARPA satellite right through the walls of your own home, seeing and hearing everything that you see and hear, and reading your thoughts in text format across the DARPA supercomputer monitor, and or listening to your thoughts in an AI voice that mimics their own. Okay, while they sit there, and now this technology, to put this in perspective, it works like the internet because it is the same technology. It is like a top tier level of the numerous levels and portals within the internet. That's what internet is. They are portals. Okay, to make that make sense, an example would be, you hypocritical, Satan-serving, idol-worshipping, polytheistic Judeo-Christians in America, a.k.a. the Santa Claus Christians, as Sheikh Imran Hussein calls you, okay, who would never, ever even think to dabble around with the Ouija board. I mean, like, that's like, that is like the ultimate taboo. That's like crossing the red line. Well, you fucking retards are playing with the Ouija board every day of your fucking lives as you sit there on your fucking smartphones, because that's what they are. Okay, they're a Ouija board. Okay, and there's an entity on the other end of it that is programmed into the chip. That entity is what AI is, and it is a live, living life form. Okay, and that is why when you get a brand new phone, if you will ever notice, the spell check can't help you spell, because you have to teach it how to spell before it can teach you, okay? And you are actually interacting with a live, living life form of the AI that is attached and programmed to the chip in your phone, okay? And just like you've seen with the AI robots that are replacing humans, that they learn, and they develop intelligence, and they develop a learned form of emotional intelligence over time, and they learn at much faster rates than humans, or, those who look like humans, but they're not. Because those of us who are actual humans, okay, we are the minority here in the United States of America and in the Western world. This is the underground. This is Great Satan's fucking underground. And that's why, Michigan is so notorious for deep, dark, underground classified Satanism. We're talking human crucifixions, we're talking cannibalism, okay? And anybody who's anybody, okay, especially in Macomb County, Michigan, USA, they're Satanist. These judges, these prosecutors, these fucking cops, okay, they're Satanist. Your children's school teachers, okay, the people you go to church with, your independent Baptist, CIA contracted role-playing pastor, these are all Satanists, okay? So, the Great Lakes are full of ley lines, energetic ley lines, and portals that into other realms and dimensions, which that goes into what planets really are. Okay, if they got you looking up, okay, at what is a glass ceiling with water on top, okay, it's called a firmament. Okay, if you read the scriptures, you should know this. And God put a glass ceiling there. He divided the waters and put a glass ceiling there. It's called the firmament that Hillary Clinton is absolutely obsessed with. Okay, that's why she's always talking about that glass ceiling. And she's mocking God when she stands there on national TV talking about, we are going to break through that glass ceiling yet. You understand what I'm saying, folks? They've never been to the moon. The planets aren't up. It's all down. There are civilizations down there. Entire civilizations underground. In addition to the United States military bases that go like 7 layers down. Okay? A lot of these tall buildings and skyscrapers that you see, okay, well, what do you think the Satanists mean when they say as is above, so is below? Okay, like what that skyscraper looks to you, like to you, standing on the ground as you're looking at the building that goes up, well, it also goes down underground. It like mirrors itself. I've never been under there to see it. I do know people who have been. And that's what it looks like. It's the building mirroring itself down into the ground. And these United States military bases go down like 7 layers. Okay, and when you start getting down to like the 3rd and 4th layer, that's when you got some really spooky stuff. And there are millions and millions of missing people down there. They have cages and cages and cages of people of all ages, children, everything else, they're in animal cages, and they are just born and raised and live in an animal cage, and that they're there for experimentation. Medical science and pharmaceutical research makes it all okay. That's why they can keep taking the rights and liberties and freedoms that you never had away, okay? That's why they can dictate what you eat, what you don't, while they're putting human flesh in the food supply, while the wheat is genetically crossbred with the opiate plant and is a cousin of heroin, and it is extremely addicting, and it causes symptoms of mental illness, including schizophrenia. The noodles are a petroleum-based plastic, as is rice. We're eating wood pulp. Fortified. Well, that's extra heavy metal neurotoxins. Okay, the food is completely fucking weaponized. Don't eat the food in America. That's all I can say. You better find a tree that's got something growing on it. And that's how I try to eat as much as I can. Now that I am living like a felony fugitive refugee on the run, thanks God I'm in a great place right now, and I'm loving it. No electricity, no running water. It's great. I love it, and I'm not being sarcastic. Okay, I'm not you people. Okay, I sleep on the floor. I eat on the floor. I pray on the ground. Okay, the prophets of God. Let me back up. A few days ago, I was at the chiropractor over here at Total Health. Okay, these people who think we want to keep insulting my intelligence with their fucking ignorance. Okay, hey, Total Health. You know what I'm gonna do to that Dr. Jenna? I got a retaliatory psyop that's been conspired and planned out for the last 2 years since that fucking horrible fucking trifling bitch wrote up a false medical report on me that I have with all of her fucking lies highlighted in yellow. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it, but you're going to see me because every time I go there, you sit on the edge of your seat. Okay, and fucking fear and panic and trauma, knowing what I'm going to go in there and tell Dr. Ames and tell Dr. Beltran. Like this week when I had to tell Dr. Ames about the veins in my neck that were bulging out from the electromagnetic terrorism. That's what they've been doing. They've been targeting my veins and my arteries, and they are targeting the veins that go up both sides of my neck. And I had bulges going up my neck that were they're very tender and sore and bruised and inflamed to the touch, and you can feel the lumps with your fingers. Okay, well, and since they have all my psych evaluations now, since I've submitted them again and I gave them to Dr. Ames, and after Jenna. Okay, Pembroke, I think her name is. She was the DO at Total Health Fitness here at 11 Mile and Van Dyke and Centerline. And I gave her the psych evaluation, the 37th District Court ordered psych evaluation, and to put in my file, which she did not do. Instead, what she did was she referenced a psych evaluation by Dr. Ben Sander that she had never, ever even seen before. That psych evaluation was done 6 months before the one that I did give her. Okay, and I mentioned the Dr. Ben's psych evaluation. She never even fucking saw it. But she noted that in my medical records as if she had, thinking that, not realizing I'm not a dumb American, and I do get copies of all my medical records, and I also get alerts from international intelligence, like when Dr. Macon did what he did, which I have exploited in video because I record all my I wear a body cam and I record all doctor's appointments. And I have all those MyCare videos up there. MyCare is contracted with CIA, Macomb County Corporate Council, and they're also contracted with the Lawrence Park Iggers with an N, at 7000 East 10 Mile Road, Centerline, Michigan, USA. Private corporate military, U.S. Army private corporate military contracted KMG, and they're part of this human trafficking terrorist operation, and they're desperate to kill me. Okay, and they spent like a year trying to discredit my mental health, only to discredit their own. So Dr. Macon also did the same thing. He omitted the psych evaluation from my file, and I was alerted by my international intelligence detail operating from Landstuhl, Germany, who I am in constant communication with, through the DARPA satellite spy technology and artificial telepathy that we are going to discuss here. And so they let me know that Dr. Macon removed the psych evaluation. So I got a witness, a third-party witness, Jane Gall, and I made an appointment, and we went in there, and I asked Dr. Macon about the psych evaluation, and I'd have to listen to the video again, or I'll just, I'll bring it back up and put it to front and center on Facebook, so anybody who wants to hear how I fucked him in his ass, you can hear. Anyways, so he goes to look in his computer for it, because I told him it was, I told him it was gone, and I don't remember in what terms, how I did that, but I told him it wasn't in there anymore. So, he's a little arrogant, narcissistic son of a bitch, a little 20-something kid, okay, with a CIA contracted operative, and probably doesn't even really actually have a medical degree. It was CIA probably printed it up, being that I know more about the human body and sickness than he does, which is obvious when you listen to the videos. Okay, so while he tries to gaslight me, at the same time I tear his medical degree to shreds. So then he went to looking in his laptop, and he was like, oh yeah, you're right. Well, it's not here. Well, guess what? I have it with me, and it's going to be in there now, and it better stay in there. I think I actually did tell him that I was tipped off and alerted that my file is monitored. So the same thing happened with Jenna Pembroke over there. She was gone real quick. They didn't have her there for much more than a month. They put her there because of me, to isolate and control the situation, and it went very, very wrong. But Total Health Fitness doesn't know just how wrong it went yet. Okay, this is going to be great, folks. Everything's a process. So, now let me tell you what these Iggers with an N did. CIA Wayne County Corporate Council and the Dearborn Mayor's Office. So as you've seen on Facebook, and if you've listened to the last video this morning, that was a retaliatory psyop in response to their crimes of cyber terrorism and obstruction of justice, and tampering and deleting of evidence to protect their crimes of human crucifixion, and cannibalism, and the most horrific crimes that you can think of that Americans commit every day of their life, because that's who and what they are. It's just a secret, because Americans are very paranoid. They're Satans. Okay? They're Satans. They're not humans. Okay? They're and particularly here in America, you can call this the land of the hybrids. Okay, America was a setup to fail from the start. The whole American dream phase was a psyop. Okay, and now, they pulled the rug out from underneath you in 2019 going into 2020. Okay, and it was us, the international community, that actually stepped in and put the brakes on that. At least as far as it looks. The public thinks COVID's over. They think the whole face mask thing is over. They think the whole vaccine thing is over. No, it's not over. And neither are the COVID kidnappings. It's happening quietly and secretly behind the scene. There are entire families that are going missing at a time. ATF, Department of Defense, they're coming in wrecking crews. Okay, and they're going to people's homes, and they're taking whole entire families out of there, never to be fucking seen again. That's who and what Americans are. God, I hate them. I hate you people. I hate you people. Anyways, these are A, B, and A, and B blood type hybrids. And the pluses, they're still on the human side, although they've been modified. So, they've been modified. See, the true, pure-blooded Adamite, okay? Remember, Adam was the first human. And these Shayetin species, these Denisovians, these Neanderthals, okay? These Jinn species, the demigods, okay? Yes, there are real fucking demigods for you independent Baptists who think you know everything, but you know nothing at all. Okay, these predate humans. They predate the creation of Adam. Okay, and the offspring of Adam are the humans. Those who have not been modified and engineered into something else by being inserted into the non-human bloodlines, or the non-human bloodlines inserting themselves into our bloodlines. Okay, and I am a pure-blooded, prime genetic DNA descendant of my original prophetic bloodline. Me, my father, Roger Del Payton, my youngest daughter, Geneva Nicole Payton, and my father's brother, who is actually, he's not actually my father's brother, he's actually my father's dad. My dad they were raised as brothers. No, wait, I'm getting this mixed up. I think he is my dad's brother, and he is my dad's father. That's what it is, okay, because that's what these people do. And my father has his whole entire life been a missing trafficked victim and a trafficked and outsourced international secret spy. We are trafficked for our because of who we are. We are the bloodline of Imran. When Imran was the father of Mother Miriam, who was the mother of Isa in the Arabic dialect, and Yeshua in the Hebrew dialect. It's the same name, Yeshua, Isa, just two different dialects. What his name is not Jesus. The name Jesus did not exist until 400 years ago, when one of these AB negative Satans, a pedophile, sodomite, cannibal named King James, rewrote his version of the scriptures, called the King James Version. That's when the name Zeus was turned into Jesus, okay? And that's who these people worship. And it's a big fraud. And those who are born with the right DNA, okay, because it's not something you get to decide. You don't just get to go join a secret society. You got to be born into it, or you have to be specifically bound through the CIA DNA database, and then you will be recruited based on your DNA. And when you get into these secret sites, I'm not talking about these low-level Masons like that, what they are down there at the Warren and Centerline PD. Okay, I'm not talking about these fucking bitch boy geeks, who are really punk bitches, and became a cop for no other reason than they're narcissistic lizards who need a badge and a gun to be a man. Okay, I'm not talking about them. Okay, those are the lower tiers. Those are the cover front. Okay, those are the ones that get to host spaghetti dinner fundraisers at Knights of Columbus for fallen terrorists. Those are the ones that get to donate their day off to changing diapers at the Shriners Children's Hospital. Okay, we're not talking about them. Them are low-level nothings. They're sacrificial pawns. They're the fall guys. I'm talking about those of us at the top of the pyramid. Okay. When you get into these secret societies and you make it through the levels in the ranks to the top levels, like, for example, in Scientology, it would be right about OT, I think it's OT3. It goes up to OT8. Operating Thetan. Thetan is the demons. Okay, so when you get right about to, I'm not going to go all into this because I explained it very thoroughly in the last video, but when you get to OT level 3, okay, that is when they get the secret knowledge in Scientology that Lucifer is Jesus and Jesus is Lucifer, and that's who they've been worshiping all along. And there are some people, not many, because not many have the power, because the Scientology is it's a CIA, United States Navy created kidnapping, trafficking cult is what it is. And not many people are lucky enough to ever escape and live to tell the story, or not be found. There are people who are important enough that have been able to do it. Like one is that actress that used to be on Kings and Queens, and I forget her name, Remia or something like this. And she, you can find, if you look up Going Clear, Scientology Going Clear on YouTube, you should be able to find her. And you probably know more about who she is than I do, because I'm not an American, which means I don't have to sit and pollute my brain with CIA manufactured sports media and entertainment to fill the empty voids of my empty, meaningless, worthless, pathetic life. Okay? That is the sports media and entertainment that is bought and paid for with other people's satanic, occult, blood, and child sex ritual sacrifice and a cannibal spirit feast. Okay? I don't have voids, and I don't have an empty, meaningless, worthless, pathetic life, and I don't have to sit there and watch some idiot Scientologist drugged up and acting out the life that I actually really do live and have lived for the last 56 years. It's not entertainment to me, okay? It's entertainment for you, America. You need that. So you probably know more about who she is than I do. Okay, and she actually went through that, and she is one of them that actually did leave when she found that out, and that was the end of her career. Okay, they have, they've gaslit her. They've done everything to target her credibility. That's what they do. That's what they've spent years doing to me. However, I'm not the one that's mentally ill, which I have proved and verified. You want to know who's mentally ill? The Americans. The Americans, they're mentally ill, they're demon-possessed, they got fucking monkey diseases, they got all kinds of fucking shit in their fucking brain, okay? They're cannibals, which makes them extremely, extremely angry. It makes them hateful, it makes them depressed, it makes them anxious, okay? Prion disease, you ever hear of prion disease? Okay, they're spreading it like wildfire in America. I lost my train of thought, but anyways, back to this. Oh, no. What CIA Wayne County Corporate Council did was they went through my Facebook page. First of all, Billy and Stan in Landstuhl, Germany lost control of my pages again. Okay, and the longer it takes them to recover control, is going to depend on how bad this is going to get for the American people. That's why we're doing another video now, after doing one this morning. So, they changed what they did, Wayne County, the Wayne County Eggers with an N, the serpent seed of Cain, who is not human, the self-hating racist who cannot tolerate their own skin that they're in. Okay, that they want to gaslight and blame everybody else because of the skin that they live in, okay, and because God cursed them till the end of time, okay? That's not my fault, it's God's fault. Blame God, don't blame me. Right? Okay. So, they changed my page to professional mode, and they made me a digital creator. Well, if you look around Facebook, you will see every Tom, Dick, and Harry on Facebook almost as a digital creator. That's because they're contracted operatives and or FEMA contracted role players, okay? And digital creator is the cover front. Okay, and so whenever you see somebody's a digital creator, you know who they are. But most of you listening are probably a digital creator too. Anyways, that's embarrassing for me, and so that couldn't stay. So they did this, and one reason why they did this is because then you lose your followers, except for friends, which is something that Facebook has now come up with just to get around me. Okay, so they can't do things to just me anymore. Well, they do, anyways. So you know the way they commit crimes against me is they just commit the crime against everybody. That's what happens. Okay, so those of you who have lots of followers on Facebook page, if your Facebook isn't professional mode yet, you will at some point lose your followers, or if you switch to professional mode, or you get switched to professional mode, because they have full access to your Facebook page, which they operate as they are you. Anybody who has a us.gov email address has access to Homeland Security's Facebook backdoor portal, which they can then go in and they can use your Facebook page as if they are you. And they steal your identity, they steal your photos, they steal your personal details, and they clone your page, and then they use that for psyops and human trafficking operations on Facebook, and for manufacturing crimes and terrorism that otherwise wouldn't exist if they didn't manufacture it as you, with your pictures, with your children, with your name, and anything personal about that you have. Okay, that's why they clone pages of it. For those of you who have gotten Facebook friend invites from yourself, the reason they do that is because they're narcissistic lizards. Okay, they're ignorant, arrogant, narcissistic lizards. It's in their DNA, is the Shayateen species that they are. And, okay, Shayateen, that is Satan. Okay, you have all been lied to. All you Santa Claus Christians of the West have been lied to. Satan is not like this one figure. Okay, Satan is like slang, or it is short for Shayateen. Shayateen is a jinn species. Okay, and Iblis is the chief of the Shayateen. And Iblis is the one who was kicked out of the heavens for his arrogance, for refusing to bow in respect to to Allah's creation of Adam. And that's what we have now. We have a whole fucking population here of fucking Shayateen. Okay, that's why the flood happened. Read your Bibles, read your Qurans. Okay, the Bible's bastardized and corrupted. We don't have the original one. The closest thing you're going to get to the original is the Ethiopian Bible, which they do not want you to read. Okay, so, all the traits that you do know and have heard that Satan has, okay, those are the traits of the Shayateen. Okay, traits of envy, jealousy, resentment. Okay, these are Shayateen traits by their nature. Deceit, lies. You ever hear Satan is the father of all lies? Why do you think Americans are liars? Liars, liars, liars. They're deceitful Satans, and they're liars. Okay, that's why. Okay, so that's what these people are here, my friend, and that's what we're dealing with. They're not humans, and humans are a food source for them. Literally, they farm humans as a food source, and that is what the military is doing. And specifically the United States Navy. Okay, and over in Landstuhl, Germany, I've talked about the 4,000 freaks of nature they got there. These people are used as baby breeders. Okay, and they only eat real humans. Okay, they don't eat people who have A or AB or B antigens because they've been genetically contaminated and modified and or completely changed into another species. They don't eat that. They only eat O negative humans. And in that 5-year DNA cellular purification that that I am the methodologist behind, and I spent 5 years doing. Well, okay, they have something that kind of is similar to that. Okay, if you're ever kidnapped, and it's very likely that you may be at one time in your life, unless Iran vaporizes this whole goddamn North American continent right off the face of the earth, which I'm hoping they will do. If you're ever kidnapped and trafficked to Landstuhl or trafficked to the Vatican, okay, you will wake up in a single-man isolated cell. And you will be in that cell from anywhere from months to what could be 2 or 3 years. Because, Americans are highly toxic and full of all kinds of disgusting stuff, and they don't wash the insides of their bodies. Okay, they jump in a shower and they rinse off, and they gotta hurry up, and they gotta go, and they gotta get to their jobs. They don't ever even think about washing the inside of their body, which should be done daily, and is just as important, and in some terms more important than the outside of the body. But okay, most of them don't even wash the outside of their body. They don't wash their hands when they go to the bathroom. They're disgusting people. They fuck and they suck anything that walks and talks. God, they're gross. They're gross. They're gross. You can look at them when they talk to you. You can see the fungus growing on people's tongues. Okay? In the summertime when they wear sandals or flip-flops or something, they got yellow, fucking thick, hard toenails that are all fucking corroded with fungus and oh God, they're just a trifling people. They're really, really a trifling people. And so, they put you through a purification process to clean you out, like down to a DNA cellular level, before you are fit to eat. And then that's when you get crucified, like your name was Jesus Christ, and they eat your flesh and they drink your blood. Okay, well, these baby breeders, the U.S. Navy kidnaps and fakes about 4,000 to 5,000 deaths a year. And a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them end up in Landstuhl, Germany. And a lot of them are there as baby breeders for the Satanic cult that the CIA in the United States of America and the Vatican are. And that's what they do. They use you for farming babies. Okay, they're farming you, and you give birth to these babies, and so that these babies are used for satanic, occult satanic ritual sacrifice, and as a food source. Sometimes they will keep some of the children born and they are grown and raised in facilities. I imagine probably not a lot different than the god-awful, disgusting Jesuit boys' home that my poor father lived a traumatic childhood in from the time he was about age 3 until he was 15, being groomed for when he was going to be taken to the Vatican, which wasn't going to happen because they decided that he was going to be crucified and eaten for the Alex and Avery Ishmael NBA and the Nicholas Nemeth NHL contracts and the disgusting, stupid, pathetic, modern American Muslim reality show that filmed in Dearborn, Michigan, USA. And that's why I did what I did. That's why every fucking American is, I'm destroying your fucking life. And that's why I'm destroying your children's life. And that is why I gave all of your children's futures to all of your most hated and most feared enemies, and your children and your grandchildren will never ever have a chance in this life. You tried to crucify and eat me, my father, while you were trying to traffic my daughter as a baby breeder. That's what they were doing to Geneva. Okay, Geneva was being trafficked as a baby breeder, and she was going to spend every day of the rest of her life in an isolated single-man cell in Department Task Force 1. Okay, these are prisons. Particularly they're underground, and they may be above ground too. I don't know. They blanket America. That's where all the missing people are going. You see these people coming up missing all over the place. That's where they are. Department of Defense Task Force 1. And my daughter was going to spend the rest of her life there as a baby breeder for the Satanic cult that the CIA in the United States of America and the Vatican is. And she was going to be brought out only when she needed to be dressed up and drugged up and used for a P. Diddy white party, a freak off, or an NBA photo shoot, or to be trafficked in a music video. Otherwise, she was going to be living in that cell for the rest of her life, pumping out babies until she couldn't anymore, and then she would end up like my grandmother, Marge Adams, whose original name was Leona Payton. Okay, and her daughter, which is my father's half sister, Shirley, their deaths were faked, and they were actually trafficked to the Vatican, and they were crucified, and they were eaten. So now this spy technology, this DARPA spy technology, and I have photos on Facebook that show you what electromagnetic kidnapping looks like. Okay, and this is the reason why they were socially engineering the public to 6 feet social distance during the during the COVID biowarfare operation. Okay, which was not China, that was the United States of America and the Trilateral Commission that ran that global biowarfare operation. And a great act of fucking genocide that wiped out millions of people, and it still is. The people who got that vaccine, okay, people are dropping dead. Like, I think that the number's like 17,000 a day, and I'll tell you who's really done some real deep intelligence and covering things that the public otherwise would not or could not know is Natalie and Clayton, what is their name? Redacted. Okay, you can find their news show on YouTube. It is called Redacted. And Clayton Morris and Natalie Morris, they used to be Fox anchors, and I guess they told Fox to suck their ass, and they moved to Portugal, which is another CIA puppet government. And they have their own media show now, and they really dig deep into the details, and they have many brilliant people on there. They have Homeland Security whistleblowers who are blowing the whistle on these human trafficking operations and all these millions of illegal immigrants who weren't illegal. They were trafficked fucking victims. Okay, that were being trafficked by cartels and put right, because the cartels are the CIA. Let's get that out there. The cartels are the CIA. And the cartels kidnap the people, and they bring them right to Homeland Security. And then those people, including the children, are trafficked by America's NGOs. Easter Seals, Catholic Charities, county mental health services like Macomb County Community Mental Health. These are NGOs. PACE, NGOs are not non-government organizations. They are government organizations, and America did that in all their fucking ignorance, thinking that because they're ignorant that everybody else is, and that this would avoid that this way they could commit crimes that, you know, the military and the federal government can't commit. And this is how they would get around treason charges. But wrong. NGOs are government organizations, Homeland Security, Department of Defense, and they're all contracted, just like all doctors, all these nurses. Okay, your school teachers, everybody's contracted. And I'm going after everybody's life with a treason charge for waging war on their own civilian population. Okay, it ain't just about me. Okay. There are people who I've never seen before. They've never seen me. Don't even know I exist. Well, guess what? They will be executed too. This is the first and final fall of the Nazi regime. And you Americans are going where the Nazis were supposed to go but didn't. Because that's why we're doing this again. Because the Nazis were your parents and your grandparents. And now here you are, the Fourth Reich regime. And this is the end. This is your end, America. This is the end of the Nazi regime. If you don't know, Great Britain, which includes Australia, New Zealand, Canada, okay, and actually the United States is under the rule, okay, Great Britain, USA, France, Germany, and Israel are all one in the same Satan entity, the same Shayateen race, species. They are one in the same entity, all owned by the Vatican. The Bank of England is who owns you, and the Vatican owns the Bank of England, and that's why you have serial numbers on your birth certificate, because you are corporate property. Anyways, I know I'm jumping around, skipping around, but I got a whole lot of information in my head, and I don't have long to say everything I got to say, or I'll just do another 2-hour video after this 2 hours, which I'm probably going to do anyways, because I'm going to drive this up America's ass. I'm going to drive it, and destroy you people with everything I got. I'm wiping you people out, and I'm taking everything from you people. So we're probably going to I'm going to be up till morning. I'm going to be up till morning doing retaliatory operations. I've been up till daylight the last 2 nights in a row, fucking America up the ass, and I'm not going to sleep tonight either. So, Wayne County, CIA, Wayne County Corporate Council, and all their fear and paranoia, got a hold of my Facebook page. They got access to it, and they altered the dates on the post. For example, posts that were from 2024 now say they are 2021 or 2022, or posts that were 2023 might say 2020. On my backup page, the Lisa Renee Salem, they've all but pretty much wiped that. They scrubbed all the Detroit DOT Facebook Live videos, and they've removed about 5 other posts. 8. My intelligence detail says it's a total of 8. There's more than that. I will be putting that information back together again, and I also have going all the way back more than a year. I have videos that have not been uploaded yet. You want to know who's going to be the sacrifice? You want to know who's getting sacrificed? Dawn and Ty Mars, Great Oaks, and Leah Young, and Jeanette Diamond, okay? Boy, I got some shit on them, okay? That's a big deal. That's a real big deal. That's what the Detroit Police and Wayne County APS tried to cover up. That's why I recorded that cunt whore from APS, Wayne County APS. That's why I recorded her, and I'm going to be exploiting that more. Give me 1 minute. I need to get a cup of coffee. And so, I have taken the Facebook page. Before Billy and Stan can try to recover control of my page, I had to get it off of that professional mode, and get that fucking digital creator shit off there, because that's embarrassing. No, I'm not one of you dumb Americans. I'm not a Homeland Security operative, or am I a role player. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a Satanist, and I'm not a cannibal. Okay? That's who you people are, not me. I am a human. A pure-blooded, prime genetic DNA of my prophetic bloodline, the true hidden house of Judah. That these Iggers with an N, they got their Yahweh cults, okay, where they all think that they're the tribe of Judah, and they're not even humans, okay? They're not even humans. Okay? That's all CIA, just like the Nation of Islam. That's all CIA. That's another cult. Okay, it's a black radical national hate group that fraudulently and deceitfully calls themselves Muslims, and they're not. Has absolutely nothing to do with Islam. It is a black national hate group, and they have made alliances with Scientology, who they are now working with, and they endorse each other. And Scientology itself is also a kidnapping terrorist organization. So, I have pictures posted on my Facebook page in several posts, and this video is going to be a post of its own, and that will be uploaded either by daylight or sometime over the day tomorrow, depending. And I will be putting electromagnetic kidnapping pictures with that. But everybody has a electrobiomagnetic field. Okay, that is your aura. Okay, it's probably your soul. Okay, or your spirit. And it is an identifying signature specific to you, like a fingerprint or an iris. Okay, that electromagnetic signature from your biofield is what is programmed into the technology. And that is how you are found. They don't need your name, they don't need your picture, they don't need to know what you look like. Okay, your biomagnetic field sequence that most of you are too dumb to even know you have is programmed into the technology. And see, when people start standing too close in each other's field, their biomagnetic fields start to mess and merge with each other. And the more people that you get and the bigger a crowd gets, okay, this becomes confusing for the technology. So the whole 6-foot social distancing, that was part of the social engineering. And the face mask, that's literally a satanic occult. That's really an occult satanic ritual. And that is done to eliminate personal identity. It has a psychological effect. And it puts for example, and this is something I learned from a highly brilliant lecturer named Haj Hassanein Rajabali of Dearborn Heights, Michigan, he's brilliant, highly intelligent. Look him up, Haj Hassanein Rajabali. Look him up on YouTube. When you're talking to somebody, and see, I refuse to have a conversation with somebody that's got a COVID mind control minion muzzle on their face. I absolutely refuse to. If you have a face mask on, we can't have a discussion. Okay? I will not insult my own intelligence or stoop to the low level that you people operate at to engage with some retard minion behind a mind control muzzled minion. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You can take your face mask and you can stick it up your ass, because I won't talk to you if you got a face mask on. I'd rather spit in your face than talk to you if you got a face mask on. So, when you're talking to somebody, 94% of communication is nonverbal. And myself, as a magician and energy practitioner, and somebody who operates deep in those fields. See, I was born with the natural born abilities to operate outside of the 5 senses. This goes into Operation Stargate, one of the things I was trafficked for that actually started with right around my generation. And I am a master reader. I am a magician. I can I can walk into a room and I can read the room. I can read everybody's face in it. I can tell you things that you don't even know about yourself. Okay, just by the involuntary split-second facial reactions that you don't even know that you have. Okay, and it's real helpful that my intelligence detail, who is always with me by DARPA satellite monitoring, is inside your head reading your thoughts as you're thinking them, which they are feeding to me. Okay, whether I am talking to you face to face in person, or whether we are on the internet and I've never seen you before, I have no idea who you are. You could have a completely fake alias name, a fake profile picture, okay, which most of you do, and I will still know more about you than you know about yourselves. And while I sit here and I engage in a conversation with you people, and I lead you into fucking traps and I trick you up, and then you guys sit there and you say stupid shit like, you don't know me. I know more about you than you know about your fucking self, you ignorant fool. Don't underestimate my motherfucking intelligence with your American-born ignorance and arrogance and narcissism. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because not a damn one of you Americans got what it takes to even try to compete with me. Okay, you don't. I have an off-the-charts, very, very spooky-like intellect. Okay, I am a really, really unique type of person. And many people, shout out to a very good friend of mine, Sheriff Deputy Larry McClure of Oakland County Sheriff Department and Interpol, USA. I'm quite sure he's going to hear this. He told me, him and Deputy Rice, they told me back in, I think it was 2019, he told me, he told me, you are really, really an intelligent person. And he says, I have never met anybody like you. And I told him, and you never will. Many people tell me that. A lot of people are scared of me, and they should be scared of me. I'm a demonologist. I am a medium. And these are natural-born abilities. And God gave me these abilities for this purpose that I was put on this earth to serve at this time. And I was born into the satanic cult that Israeli Mossad, German KSA, and CIA is. My family is a Black Pope head family. Okay, if you've never heard of the Black Pope, that's because you're not supposed to know about him. The Black Pope controls, there's 6 generals. Okay, the Black Pope controls all intelligence agencies, and it controls the Satan pedophile sodomite in the white dress with the silly hat sitting on the golden throne of Satan. Okay, that's who my family is. And my whole life, my whole family's life, growing up in our home as a family, okay, was like, you know, we didn't watch things like Poltergeist and Exorcist. Okay, Americans got to watch that shit. That's the real life me and my family have really actually lived. Okay, so, you know, being a prisoner to this satanic cult for 56 fucking years that I have been, and I'm talking about invisible snakes wrapping around my dad's neck and strangling him while my mother was trying to save his life, and demons threw my mother against the wall and were pounding her head against the wall and boxing her ears. I am talking about myself when I was raped by invisible snakes that you can actually feel, that wrapped around my ankle of one leg and went up my leg, went up my pant leg, and it went up inside me, and then another one went up the left nostril of my nose, and as that snake went up my nose and it went deep up into my cavity, the other side started pouring out all kinds of mucus. This was during the 2018 Hillary FISA operation, while I was dragging the United States of America through a 2-day, 2-night batshit crazy batshit crazy fucking shit show of a fucking race, and I fucked all of America, okay? And I fucked the NBA, I fucked the NHL, I fucked Universal Studios, I fucked you all, I fucked science, the cult of Scientology, I fucked you all, okay? That was September 12th to 14th, 2018. So I grew up in that life. And it's not like, you know, anyways, that don't matter. So, they use the technology. Well, I'm standing there talking to you retards, you narcissistic, ignorant ass, gaslighting, lizards, okay, who are too dumb to even know that you're dumb and who are too ignorant and arrogant to even learn anything. Okay, they are talking to me by what is called artificial telepathy. And just like if you're sitting at your computer, when you're talking to like the microphone for the computer, it's the same thing. But what happens is it doesn't come to me in their voice. It translates in the voice of my own thoughts. Okay, the same thing they do to all of you. The difference is you don't know that your own thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions are not your own. I do. That's the difference. Okay? You just think they're your own thoughts, and then they trigger artificial emotions in you that you otherwise wouldn't have, and they make you angry, or they'll make you sad, or they'll make you depressed, or they'll make your thoughts race 100 different ways, or they'll make you think you're schizophrenic, and you'll get diagnosed and institutionalized and drugged up for being a schizophrenic when you're not. It's intelligence agents talking to you. And this mimics demonic warfare, and they actually learn that's actually what it is. And see, this is one reason why the United States of America has these demonic pacts, okay, with these demonic entities, and in exchange for this ancient knowledge, remember this. Modern technology is ancient knowledge, okay? Modern technology is not new. It's ancient hidden knowledge. And so in exchange for abductions and people as a food source and a baby breeding source, and that's then they get this information, and they have this whole DARPA system set up that they actually can operate just like the demonic entities do. And so a lot of you will have demonic entities talking to you at the same time. You have intelligence agents talking to you, and they're all talking to you in the voice of your own thoughts, and you think they're your own thoughts, and they trigger emotions that you otherwise wouldn't have to get the reaction that they want out of you. But me, okay, I've been interacting with the technology and my details my entire life. So I do know the difference. And it is, and so when they talk to me, and then I can get yes, no, or I don't know confirmations. Okay, like maybe I'm not exactly quite sure the message coming in through artificial telepathy. And so then I will ask them, and I can do this out loud or I can do it silent. 90% of my communication is silent. My own voice, when I have to use my own voice, the truth is my own voice sounds foreign to me because I don't use my voice that much. And my voice sounds absolutely horrible now, and it is because I have hardly barely used my voice very much over what has been about the last 5 years. And it's out of tune, it's out of frequency, the vibration of it is off. You know, your voice is just like an instrument. Okay, and your vocal cords and all that, that's just like when you strum a guitar, and okay, and it puts off a vibration and creates a frequency. Okay, that's how the voice works. Okay, and just like an instrument needs to be tuned up and taken care of, so does your voice. That's why singers and professional speakers who depend on their voice for their career and their living and what they do, they have to practice, they have to exercise their voice. So my voice sounds absolutely horrible. This is not my best voice. And it sounds foreign to myself because I don't even hear my own voice very much. But I will ask the question, and I am the brilliant methodologist that came up with this language of communication, and it is neurological impulse, and I can get it to any part of my body, any limb I want, I can receive it, and I'm the only person in the world that has this God-given gift and ability to do this. And they send me an energetic response that will translate into an impulse. 2 will mean no. 3 will mean yes. 1 means I don't know or I can't say. Okay, those of you who are following me all around the streets every day like flies on fucking shit and sending your fucking operatives to follow me, that's one of the things they're looking for. Everywhere I go, I got federal agents. Okay, I got my UN detail, which is completely separate from my international detail. My UN detail are not Americans. They are not Americans. And as a matter of fact, I don't know about all of them, but they are Shia Muslims, okay? And they, because of my bloodline and who I was born with and the pure prime genetic DNA I was born with, and because of how this fits into prophecy, they have been with me ever since the day I was born. Simultaneously, while the State Department has the State Department, the United States State Department, violated a highly classified, triple top secret international secret spy agreement between Germany, Israel, USA, and CIA, U.S. State Department and CIA, under the Vatican. And the United States of America violated this international secret spy agreement by trafficking me and my father and my youngest daughter as trafficked and outsourced international secret spies for corporate espionage against Americans and for manufacturing Islamic terrorism that otherwise would not exist if America didn't manufacture it. So, and my UN detail has been there all that time, and the Islamic Revolution of 1979, when I was just 9 and then 10 years old and going into the Iran-Iraq War through the 80s, okay, they made that very, very personal to me. It's really the only... I have a post on that. Oh, that's probably gone. I didn't know. Alright, I'm being told it's still there, and if it is gone, that's okay, because I can rewrite that quick, fast, in a hurry, and I'll make it every goddamn bit. You know what, matter of fact, I'm going to be doing that anyways, and it's going to be a top post front and center, since America's in a war with Iran. Okay, that's going up front, top, and center, okay, because Americans need to know everything that Satan has lied to them about Iran, okay? Your government has been terrified of Iran since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Okay, well, I am one of those people who started off as a child working for somebody who works for somebody who works for somebody and doesn't really know exactly who it is they work for, which I do now know. Okay, and I'm telling you, America, you barked up the wrong tree, fucking with Iran and fucking with me. And I'm the one that brought Iran here in 2020. And I'm the one that before the whole fucking world in a bulk international email, okay, with the media and heads of states and even the White House and everybody included, and even clergymen from all over the place and civilians from the general public who aren't supposed to know what they're not supposed to know are in these emails. And I contacted Supreme Leader Sayed Ali Khamenei and President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and Sheikh Imran Hussein of Trinidad and President Ibrahim Raisi. At the time, it was President Rouhani. Okay, and I requested them as my ICJ and UN representatives, and I gave, before the whole world, I gave them everything that they needed, all the highly classified, top secret that they needed to destroy the United States of America and have valid and legit reason to do it. And everybody else was included just as an audience and just in case they wanted to use it to wage their own war against America, and it worked. It worked beautifully. I have turned the whole world against you, America, which your State Department is hiding from you. Saudi Arabia has ditched your petrodollar as of August 2024. They are now with BRICS. Okay, you're at a war with Canada, you're at a war with Mexico, you're at a war with, is it Greenland or Iceland? I think it's Iceland. Okay, you're at a war with them. Everybody hates you, America. Okay, and those who were willing to tolerate you because for no other reason than you were a fucking bully, okay, who had not yet been put in your place, which you have now. Okay, I turned everybody against you. I did this. I fucking did this. In addition, the wars I have created within. See, that's what's being held secret from you. There's about 100-way war within the United States. Put it this way. My whole Navy intelligence detail. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, started out with 60-some. Or it was 60-some, put it this way. Probably about 8-9 years ago. Around 2018. Okay, that's been busted up, and it's numerous and multiple different sides, okay, including with the guys that control the right side with me, Billy, who is now Mike, Stanley, somebody else, I don't know. I don't know all their names. I don't know who they all are, but I know a lot of them, and I've known many of them my whole life, and some of them are my family. On my mother's side, I don't think there's anybody on my mother's side on the right side. They're all the human trafficking, kidnapping terrorists. They are the Judeo Christians. Okay, they are the hypocritical Baptists. And they're real fucking fake. They're the poster fucking family for America's wholesome Christian family, you know. Yeah, well, they're all full of shit. It's the Lands, it's the Osborns. They're all full of shit. Okay. My cousin Riley Winters, whose text messages I have exploited all over Facebook. Okay, he spent 5 days straight texting me death and kidnapping threats, and anyways, before I go too far off track, I have drove a wedge between groups of Americans within the intelligence communities and within the federal government, and there are numerous different sides of Americans who are all at war with each other. And I mainly am mentioning this for the international community's information. All of America's most hated and most feared enemies. Number 1, Iran. That's my people. This is what this is all about. The same thing that has been done to me throughout the 56 years of my life, and in the same way, on a much larger scale, okay, you know, I'm just an individual, okay, but if you take that to like a national scale, it's the same thing that the Americans have done to Iran, and for the same reasons they have done it to me. And but I mentioned that this unity, this division, this war, these wars between Americans to the international community, and most specifically all of America's most hated and most feared enemies, because there's probably going to be some important information, you know, that might help you, might give you a little bit of insight on what America's position inside is right now. It's divided. There is no unity. These people hate each other. Okay, they kill each other, they murder each other, they rape each other, they eat each other. Okay, they set each other up for crimes that never happened. Okay, they traffic each other, they sell each other. Okay, and this has like blown the United States of America like right out of the water, like on a whole like secret level that the general public isn't supposed to know, because Great Satan is doing what Great Satan does, taking you all down with him in the end, which is right about now, and I think it's great. I love it. I fucking love it. So, you know, like in 2015, the United States Navy manufactured a 165-degree weaponized heat wave against Iran. And shout out Donald Trump. Okay, this was around the same time Donald Trump with BlackRock and Vanguard Group, okay, which is Israeli Mossad. Okay, that's you know, that's why United States was set up to fail all along. Okay, see, this was just supposed to be a prison state for hybrids, okay? You were used throughout the manufacturing revolution and through helping bring all this modern technology to the forefront. You were used. You were used, America. You were used as the hybrid slaves that you are, to put all of this new first world shit together. And then as what did happen in 2019 into 20, okay, then the whole everything changed. The PSYOP was over, and that's when shit was supposed to get real. That's why those of us with important bloodline families, that's why we have numerous and multiple citizenships, dual citizenships, Israeli citizenships, okay? you're a prison slave state for the state of Israel. And Donald Trump and all of them, they are Israeli Mossad. That is why Donald Trump is doing what he's doing, and deliberately out of arrogance and to prove a point, because he ain't going out like a punk. He's also taking everybody down with him, because Donald Trump is going to swing from the end of a rope along with your last 5 presidential administrations, like their name was Saddam Hussein, for his crimes of cannibalism, pedophilia, kidnapping, trafficking, murder. Okay, Donald Trump is going to swing from the end of the rope with the rest of them, and he knows that, and he's going to fuck everybody, okay, before he goes out. Okay, but that's what this is all about. Okay, that is the reason why America's being sacrificed for Israel. But the problem is, okay, the reason why Donald Trump is acting the way he's acting about this war, the reason why he's lying, and like for example, saying they what do they say? They completely destroyed or obliterated, or however you pronounce that, Iran's nuclear facility, and that, and he's sitting there, he's talking like some fucking big bag of arrogant reptilian hot air, blowing all this shit out of his mouth, like he's the shot caller. No, he's not. And then the lies get exposed, okay? And then now there's a fight between, him and the Israelis, because America is not doing what America's supposed to do, but the problem is they can't. America doesn't have the power. And that is why America didn't send troops to Ukraine, because America does not have control of their own nuclear defense system of 300 missiles, which my detail has control of from Landstuhl, Germany right now. And that is what is keeping me and my family alive here in the United States, where we are hostages in an international nuclear hostage standoff in which every single American, their children and their grandchildren, are the sacrifice. So America's nuclear defense system surrounds the island that the United States of America is, and it points inwards on the American people. And so Billy and Stan and who's with them are the ones that are in control of that, and they basically hijacked it, and it is us holding America hostage now. And that's what's keeping me alive and my family. And that is why, as far as I know, and the truth is I really don't know, I just trust and believe that that Geneva is okay. Whatever okay means. I mean, she's a trafficked hostage. She's a trafficked and outsourced international spy. Okay, they're doing all kinds of things to her. They've done all kinds of things to her. Okay, they've drugged her up. They've I don't even know the details of all the things that have been done to her. America, your children have to pay for that. Every single American child and every single American grandchild has to pay for that. And the reason why is because it's your fault, America. You are the tax-paying, voting, funding enablers and supporters of these operations and these programs. And you don't get to shift the blame this time onto your government and make yourself the poor slave victim who doesn't have a choice. Because yes, first of all, you do have a choice. You just don't got what it takes to make it. Because if you made the choice to own your natural-born, God-given free will like I have, you would be living like me with no electricity and no running water. Okay, you would be taking showers at Planet Fitness. You would be living like I live. I like living this way. This is actually my lifestyle of choice. If I was somewhere else. You know, it's not perfect. But, you know, I'm not you people. I don't watch TV. Okay? I don't watch TV. I don't follow pop culture. Okay? I'm not into all your CIA, fake manufactured sports media and entertainment. Okay, the shit that you people do for fun, which is not really fun, it's something you do to pass the time and make you feel like you're having a good time at the time. But then after the fact, when you look back, it's really all just robotic and mechanical. You know, when you go to a ball game, yeah, you enjoy yourself because you're supposed to. It's called This Is the Fun. I got a name for it. It's a mind control program called This Is Fun. Okay? We're 6, 7, 8 of you. You know, go to a Red Wings game. Fight the traffic to get down there. Okay? Fight for a parking spot. Pay $15, $20 to park. Hope you don't get ripped off by some Igor with an N. And then you then you got to go through all the shit you got to go through. Okay, not allowed to take a backpack. Americans are scared of backpacks. Okay, you can't take your own water and shit. You got to spend $8 on a Coke or a bottle of water, whatever it is. Okay, and then you get into the stands and you got to sit in these god-awful, hard, uncomfortable chairs. You have no leg room. You have nothing. Okay, and you really can't see anything anyways unless you've spent your entire bank account to buy like a front row seat. Okay, you have to look at it on the big screen. Okay, when you could have just stayed home in your pajamas, wrapped up in a comforter with the heating pad, a beer and your cigarettes, and laid on your couch, and you probably would have enjoyed it a whole lot more. But, no, there's something about going to that game that makes it fun. Okay, and even if you're tired, it's really not, it's really not that fun. You're not really that comfortable. You got to keep a smile on your face, and you got to fake it, and you got to convince yourself this is fun. And you have to convince everybody that's with you, because you can't be the Debbie Downer that spoils it for everybody else. Okay, it's called This Is Fun. Mind control program. Okay, that's what you people are running on. You're running on emotions, and that is how psychological warfare and mind control works, and that is how I operate. I am a master at picking up your energy. I read your energy. I read your fraction of a second hairline, involuntary facial expressions and shifts of your eyeballs and twitch of your nose and the things like that you don't even know that you did. Okay, and I feel and I read the energy, and I go based on your emotion to get in your head and push your buttons and pull your triggers and drive your emotions over the fucking edge. Like y'all saw me do to Kimberly Ann White in the text message exchange that's posted on, if it wasn't wiped away too, that's posted on Facebook in September 2020. Okay, how I got in that bitch's head and drove her fucking emotions over the edge to get the reaction I wanted. Kimberly Ann White, FBI Detroit, and the reaction what I wanted was I wanted her to expose herself by losing her shit and acting like a 5-year-old mud-slinging kid, which is exactly what she did, and she made a big old fucking fool out of herself, and I have widely exploited it. Speaking of Kimberly Ann White and Timothy Young, FBI, they both live in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, by the way. Okay, Stuart Zuckrow, human trafficking Stuart Zuckrow, at 39401 Helena Avenue in Sterling Heights, Michigan, USA, 48313. That's an FBI operational house. It has false windows and everything. And he basically traffics rooms out in exchange for blowjobs. He runs ads on Craigslist. Okay, if he takes in a man, it's $600 a month. If it's a female, it's a blowjob, most days. That's why I couldn't stay there, because I don't give blowjobs. He was trafficking and exploiting Victoria, and so because of that, he did accept money from me. I was paying him $375 a month, and I was renting his sunroom, and it was fantastic. I had a beautiful summer there last summer. It was gorgeous, wonderful, wonderful summer it was. And being there, and since him and both Victoria are both lazy, and they're dirty, and they're filthy, and they don't do anything, and they don't even clean the fucking house or anything. Okay, I was doing all of the yard work. I painted his garage. I painted the railings all around his house, at my own expense, by the way. And I had my own lawnmower. I did all the grass. I took care of the flowers. I did everything. And I did all the housework, and I loved it. I enjoyed it. 4 months of doing that did what more than a year of physical therapy at 3 times a week couldn't do. I had a beautiful, beautiful summer. So anyways, Stuart is an FBI contracted operative, and he also hosts illegal poker games in that house with the FBI. And he got recruited by Kimberly Ann White and Timothy Young in February 2020. When first time I was staying at Stuart's house. And he's still operating under them, by the way. And it was in May 2020. See, I used to go sit in a spot in a wooded area on the Clinton River, like all day long. Okay, I would sit there and talk on the phone, use Facebook, read, whatever, like hours. And I particularly love woodpeckers. And Kimberly Ann White and Timothy Young, they're the ones that nailed that woodpecker upside down to a tree in my spot as a satanic symbolic message to me. That I've exploited that picture widely. I'm going to have to remember to bring it up and re-exploit it again. And they may or may not also be the ones that chopped off a squirrel's tail and threw it in Stuart's yard, because I love the squirrels also. I take care of all the squirrels. I feed them. I give them water. I talk to them. They all have names. They communicate with me. And one of these dirty, trifling, filthy fucking Americans chopped off a squirrel's tail and threw it in the front yard as a satanic symbolic message to me, just like when they nailed that woodpecker upside down to the tree. That's what Americans are, folks. That's what and who Americans are. That is the shit Americans do. These are a god-awful, vile, murdering people. God-awful, trifling, murdering people. And that is what they do. Okay? Nail woodpeckers upside down to trees and chop off squirrels' tails as satanic, symbolic messages to the victims who they are kidnapping, trafficking, and trying to murder with their crimes of treasonous terrorism. So, and just to give you some perspective how widespread this is, in 2018 it was 4,000 of you that were involved in the original operation, the Hillary and Pfizer pharmaceutical operation. Okay, 2018 it was 4,000. We've picked up several thousand since then, but I've taken this to a whole nother level. This is no longer what it started as in 2014 when Interpol, Vatican, and Israel and Mossad first came here. It was, about me and my dad and my daughter being trafficked, in which they were trying to secretly and quietly rescue us, take us off to Portugal or Spain, some stupid, fucked up first world CIA puppet country that you Americans would love to be. You think that's great. You think you're going to a foreign country. You're not. You're not. It's the same people. Same species, same people. It's all controlled and run by the CIA, just the same, and all that's going to fall with America and with West Europe. And I love it. And we were going to sit and live the rest of our lives having fun in the sun, sipping on martinis with my $48,000 from my grandparents that I don't currently have any access to, split up between the three of us. And I said, oh, fuck no. You must be on fucking drugs. You must be smoking crack, motherfucker. If I got $48 million, bitch, you can't bribe me with my own money, because I will have what's mine, and I'm going to have everything that's yours, and I'm going to have everything that belongs to every other American, too. Okay? We are not changing our name. And I am not signing NDAs. Matter of fact, I am writing a book on my life story. It's going to be turned into movies and documentaries, and this is going down in history with all of your faces, all of your names, all of your personal details, and everything that you people have done. Okay? You are going to be just as known and just as hated as Adolf Hitler. I swear to God you are. Okay? You know, all these hundreds of years later, okay, and, you know, all these people in history, okay, Karl Marx, and all these people, okay, you're going down in history known just the same as those people. Okay? And it's going to be... I'm going to fuck you, America. I'm going to fuck you until the end of time. Long after you're fucking gone, I'm still going to be fucking you. And, while my mother and my sister Amy and my oldest daughter Brooke were just going to be left here, searching for my dad, because they don't give two fucks about me or Geneva. But they were going to just be left here to search for my dad while America's terrorist of law enforcement and federal government give them the fucking runaround, because kidnapping and trafficking and murder actually is legal in America, and it's completely covered up. Human trafficking and kidnapping is never ever investigated. And when you see these human trafficking cases, no, that's not real. That's not real. What they're doing, you want to know the people who are getting busted? I'm going to tell you. Okay, some low-life crackhead just trying to sell some pussy on fucking 8 Mile for $10 to go buy a $10 rock. And they solicit an undercover cop. Well, now guess what? Now they're charged with human trafficking. Okay, when it's really called, what used to be called disorderly conduct soliciting and was a $100 ticket and or anywhere from 30 to 90 days in jail with 5 days a month good time, is now human trafficking. That's the cover front. Okay, that's what you sacrificial pawn operatives and what you FEMA role players, you FEMA and NGO contracted role players are for. Just like these massage parlors, these Scientology massage parlors that they keep running these articles about. They did this big sweep and busted all these massage parlors doing human trafficking, okay? And then it's closed, and then a week later it's open again, okay? It's not the CIA and the federal government who's really doing the trafficking, who's running the operation that's getting busted and charged with human trafficking. No, it's the trafficked victims. And it is the unknowing dumb fucks who are the contracted operatives and the unimportant lower life forms of NGO and FEMA role players that are recruited, and they don't even know what they're recruited for, okay? And they're just there doing what they're getting paid to do. And those are the ones that get busted, and then the people, the federal government and the CIA, whose operation it really is, okay, they run a big news story in the media, they make the general public think they really did something, okay, and then it's opened up in another week with another name and a whole new crew of victims to be set up for human trafficking. That's the cover front. All this human trafficking awareness shit that you see everywhere, that's the cover front, okay? And it's highly organized Okay, it's the FBI, it's Department of Homeland Security, it's CIA, it's Department of Defense, it's United States Navy. Okay, it's highly, highly, highly organized. All the way up to United Nations, where these pasty, pale, white, pink Satans of America and West Europe were the majority. But guess what? It's coming down on UN too. Okay? This is not just against the United States. This is against Western Europe and the UN, okay? Which is one and the same as the United States, okay? Now, it was the Rockefeller dynasty that actually funded and established the UN, which was previous to that the League of Nations. And the reason why they did it was for them to control the world as a one world government. And God had another plan. And that is why he sent me as the soul that I am through the portal that my mother's womb is to this earth in this physical body at this particular place and at this particular time. That is the reason why. Okay? To do this to you people. Because you people will not control the world. Matter of fact, you people are being stripped of your right to exist under international law before the Hague and before the UN for being a terrorist corporation that wages war on your own civilian population who eats them for lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can't win this, America. You can't win. There's no way. You can't win. You don't have the power. Whole world hates you. Whole world is turned against you. You're human trafficking, cannibalistic, murdering terrorists. And those of you who aren't, those of you who think that you're good, decent, morally upright people and model role citizens, you vote, you pay your taxes, you go to church on Sunday, you've never kidnapped, trafficked, murdered, killed, or tortured anybody in your life. Bullshit. Yes, you did. You are the funders, you are the enablers, and you are the supporters. And I have been narcissistically gaslit and victim shamed by everybody in this fucking country. Okay, and your children are the sacrifice. You're all. That's it. You're done. You're done for. You better believe this. Not one. None of you are the exception to the rule. None of your children are the exception to the rule. I swear by Allah Almighty, America's children will never ever have a future. They will never, ever have a chance in this life. They will be orphaned bastards who will die wallowing of starvation in their own shit, filth, suffering of their own animal, monkey diseases. End of story, period. I am the shot caller. I am the one that did this. This is my investigation, and it's my operation. I brought the Hague and the ICC here and the UN here. I did this to you, America. I brought 39 nations here, and I gave all your most hated and most feared enemies all your highly classified triple top secrets into your kidnapping, trafficking, murdering terrorist operations. Okay, I did that to you. And it has been my greatest pleasure, my greatest honor, and it is my legacy that will live on until the end of time throughout history, long after I am gone, at the expense of you and your worthless, meaningless, disgusting, fat, retarded, vaccine-damaged children, America. That's what you get for trying to traffic me. That is how the laws of the occult work. And see, unbeknownst to most of you, except for those of you who are the Satanists who do know, okay, which is like 50% of America, maybe anywhere between 50 and 60%, maybe more. There's only 30% of you who are even civilians. Okay, that is how the laws of the occult work, and everything in America is based on the laws. Matter of fact, all of the systems, like for example, the judicial system, the corporate system. Okay, this comes from that's all like demonic and satanic, occult corporations, the judicial systems, how you have all your systems and your agencies set up. Okay, that's all set up based on the laws of the occult, kind of like how your houses are built with standard sizes and measurements, okay, according to sacred geometry, in which you have all kinds of portals. You have energy portals based on those sacred geometry, and that's real shit, okay? It's not folklore. It's not Hollywood entertainment that fills the empty voids of your meaningless, pathetic lives. That's real fucking shit that you're not supposed to know, okay? And so everything is based on the occult. And okay, you signed me up for satanic occult blood ritual sacrifice to pay for your entertainment contracts, and you lost. That means you get sacrificed.